So simply go into your address bar and put in the URL Mendeley. Yeah, that's a spelling, Mendeley, Mendeley. So Mendeley.com. That opens the site for you. Mendeley is now a product of Elsevier. So Elsevier is making a lot of investment in making it an academic social network, right? So Mendeley is more than just a citation and reference manager. It is a whole academic social network. And now we even have Mendeley data where publishers can actually upload their data for reuse and future reference and all of that. But we are not going to go into all those details about Mendeley. For now, we are focusing only on the aspect of Mendeley that has to do with the management of our citation and referencing tasks, okay? So if you log into Mendeley.com, this is what you see. It says Mendeley brings your research to life so you can make an impact on tomorrow. Excellent. So you can actually search for articles from here. Then this is what we are here to do, to create a free account on Mendeley. You can also see download here. The download here, so let me explain this. There are two ways for getting Mendeley on your desktop. First, you can create your free account, but this free account gives you the web version. After that, you download the app so that you can have the desktop version as well. Or you choose to download the app first. For example, if I click download right now, it will now prepare the various apps for example, I have for Windows. Then I click here, download Mendeley Desktop for Windows. Or those who are using other OS, you can see that we have Mendeley Desktop for Mac OS, and there's also Mendeley Desktop for Linux, all right? So depending on the operating system that you are using, and I believe that majority of you are using Windows, so you download this very one. Now, whether you go through this channel first, if you download and install, you'll still be required to register for a free account before you can start using the desktop version, all right? So that is one way. The other way is from the first page, okay? You rather go to create a free account. And here, Mendeley will ask you to fill out some form. So they'll first ask for your email, all right? Over here, don't worry, you don't necessarily have to use the UHAS email. So you can use any other personal email that you have, all right? So you put in your email and then you click continue. You go through the process. I'm sure you are all familiar with online registration. There will be a stage where it will ask you of your status. Okay, so currently, I believe all of you or most of you are undergraduates. And so you can select undergraduate. It will ask you for your discipline. You can go for the health sciences and nursing and whatever. Then there are certain questions like that you have to fill out. And when you are done, you see that Mendeley will accept you and open your dashboard for you on the web. That means you are actually registered. So after that registration process, you can now download the desktop version. Okay, I won't go through those processes because I already have it. And so what I'm going to now show you is what the desktop version looks like. And once you are able to register, when you get the desktop version, the first time that you want to use it, you'll be asked to actually sign in. Sign in. So all you do is the very email that you used in registering for your Mendeley free account, put that email in. And the password you use when you're doing the registration, put the same password in and check the box that says stay signed in. And then you click on sign in and you are done. Now, if you're able to go through that process, then you get to this level, what I'm about to show you right now. So I am now going to show you my Mendeley app. This is how it looks. You can see the icon, okay? This special M, like the one which is here on the website. That is a Mendeley icon. So Mendeley Desktop will load, like mine is loading right now, if you have done everything right. Well, I have thousands and thousands of library of references already, but if it was a new one, I'm going to actually show you how a fresh one will look like. You are going to have everything here blank because you don't have anything in yet. So the first thing that I want us to look at is after we have done the installation, we have done the registration, and the desktop app. What you are seeing right now is the Mendeley Desktop app. In the second session, which will start at 5 o'clock, I'll also show you the web version. That is when we are going to use the web plugin so that when you are even on an online site, you can directly cite with your reference manager, the Mendeley. But for this first session, we are limiting ourselves to the desktop version, which looks like this. So you can see, I can even move it around, okay? This is the Mendeley app, all right? Good. So now let's explore a few features. We can see immediately that there are three panes: the left pane, the middle pane, and the right pane. I'll explain what each of them is. On the left pane, you have the tools for organizing your library.
Hello, sir.
The topmost, okay?
Hello, sir.
Yes, come in, please.
Please, sorry, my network was just not right, so I didn't get a few slides. Can you please go back for me?
Whoa, unfortunately, there are no slides. What I'm doing right now is
where you started. Yeah, I got to download Mendeley Desktop for Windows.
Okay.
And then the network started.
Okay, so, sorry about that. Okay, so after the download, it means you have gone through the registration, okay? You simply run it as you install any other app. So when you run the installation, it will actually open up the Mendeley Desktop for you like this one, okay? What you are seeing here. This is a Mendeley Desktop app. Okay, so that is where we have reached. So once you have this particular app open after running the installation, then all that you have to do is learn and understand what the various tools in the desktop app mean and how you use them. And that is where we are starting from right now. All right, good. So the first pane here is for organizing your library, and it contains all the tools. For example, you can see the folder named All Documents. These All Documents will display every single item that you have in your Mendeley library, okay? And I'll explain why it is available there. The reason is that, as you can see, I have created several different folders. I have a folder that contains a reference library I named 3GP, another one by somebody's name, Academic Social Network, Accreditation. So as and when I'm doing a particular work, okay, the references that I'm using in achieving that particular task, I group them in a particular folder. And that is exactly where we are going to start from right now. So to have a fresh and clean look of my Mendeley Desktop app, let's just move a little down. You will not have this problem because yours is fresh and you don't have any folders, but I have several folders. So you can see the one that says create folder. So I click on create folder and I say SPH sandwich, SPHSW. So just press enter key and I have created a new folder, SPH sandwich. You can see it over here. So as you can see right now, my Mendeley Desktop now looks clean. There's nothing here, it's empty, and that is how you usually see yours when you do a fresh install. Since you have not yet developed any library or created any collections of references, everything here is plain, all right? So let us now see, how do we begin to build our library of references? How do we build our library of references? Now, it all begins with the search that we conduct, all right? So when we conduct a search, we download items, we read them, and that is how we begin to like a certain one, reject another one, and all the ones that we have accepted to use in our literature review are the ones that we will actually populate in our Mendeley reference library so that we can cite them when we are writing, all right? So let me just go to the university library and see. So library, you can see it's even coming, library.uhas.edu.gh, and then we'll go through any one of our databases. I'm going to use, so I go to eResource subscribed, and I'm going to use Hinari as one of them. So Hinari, I put in my username and password, and then I'm logged in to Research for Life, and I pick Hinari. All right, so I do not want to waste my time because I don't know any particular journal in mind. I want to go straight to search. So I actually invoke the Salmon search engine. And in the Salmon search engine, I'll repeat what I used in the morning: COVID-19, and Ghana. Don't forget the end I'm using here is a Boolean end. So it is not part of the search string. I'm using it to combine two different search terms, COVID-19 and then the country Ghana. All right. And then I press my enter key. Now I have over 200 results. And let's suppose that I like this first one, limiting the spread. The second one too says responding to COVID-19 pandemic. Very interesting topics. Let's see the third up to the fifth one. The third one says maintaining quality newborn care in Ghana amid COVID-19 pandemic. It's also an interesting study. The fourth one is the same title. The fifth one says towards effective participation of the private health sector in Ghana's COVID-19 response. And the sixth one says clinical characteristics, treatment regimen, and duration of hospitalization among COVID-19 patients in Ghana. Very interesting stuff. All right, so let's suppose I'm interested in all these. Starting with the first one, there are two ways you might want to read. You can click on the title, which is a link here, all right, to read it online. Or when you move down here, you can see it says preview. You can decide to look at the preview, or it says this journal article has the full text online. Can you see that? So click on the full text online link. That navigates you away, and it tells you that that is even an open access journal, because you can see it in the directory of open access journals. DOAJ, can you see it? So that's an interesting one. So it's a free article to download, and this is where the article is. So in DOAJ, you can see the full title is here. It was published in PLOS ONE. The Public Library of Science 1 was a publisher. And here are the authors. They have given you every single detail that you need to know. Harrietta Frank Bonfo, Adolfina Adulate, Justice M. Aheto, John Kumori, Ghani, and all of that, all right, up to Gennaro. Then it gives you the abstract of that article, but you can see the full text link by it. So you simply click on the full text, and it's now going to display the full text of the article for you. And in my case, I want to download it. Oh, very interesting. Can you see that it is even available through the PubMed Central? Okay, so once in PubMed, you can have all the formats that you want to use. If you are using an ebook reader like PubReader or EPUB, you can decide to pick them. But I think I have a standard laptop, so I'll pick the PDF version. So I click on the PDF to open the PDF version of this particular article, and this is where it is. It opens in the browser's own PDF reader. I'm using the Chrome browser, so this Chrome browser's own PDF reader. And now it gives me the opportunity to download the article. Can you see it? So I now click here to download, and it's asking me to name it. All right, I think I have a name. Let's see if I can write that name. It says limiting the spread of COVID-19 in Ghana. So for me, that is what I'll pick. Now the trick is that if I don't want to type everything myself, I can cancel this one. Once I have the PDF, I'll select that first part that I want to use to name it, then Control-C, copy, or I can just right-click and choose copy, all right? And then I click on my download button, and when the file explorer comes for me to name it, I simply paste Control-V. So that is the title I want to store, and it is telling me it is going into my desktop. I don't want it on my desktop, so let me say it should enter my downloads folder, and then I click on save. That is all. You can see it downloaded right here. That is how Chrome downloads. It shows right on your status bar here, and I'm okay with that. So I've got my first article. All right, now let me go back and see if I can pick another article. Now this is where it ends. This one was an external link, so I can decide to close the DOAJ, and then I return to my research for life. Maybe I need a second one also that says responding to COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana. It's the same thing. Go to the full text online, and then it will direct you to the source where the full text is. All right. In this case, it is not available open access through the Directory of Open Access Journals, the DOAJ. It is a ProQuest article, okay? So let's see whether ProQuest will actually allow it. Oh, but it's interesting, I can see. It is in the ProQuest journal, but it is also here as Director of Open Access Journals. So let's try it. Let's try the DOAJ, the DOAJ, and see whether we can have it there. If it is there, it is easier to download. Well, I don't think it is here. Then why did they give me the link? I don't know. So that is the fate of searching. This is Ghana Medical Journal. Can you see it? It is actually Ghana Medical Journal. And here it opens the journal's current volume to me. So I think what I can do to help myself is to look at the title. It is what? Responding to the COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana. Okay, so let me search that particular topic in this journal, responding to the COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana. Actually, I like the way the thing is going so that you understand how searching is not a straightforward thing. So sometimes you hit a snag, then you go back, you learn, you bring another alternative to the search. I have done that search right now, but I don't seem to have seen what it is. Or is it already here that I cannot find? Patterns of whatever, management of TB, increased volume, skeletal, whatever. No, I don't seem to find this here. This is strange. Okay, so since none of the links from Research for Life actually led me to that particular publication, what I'll do is remove all those ones, get back to the article, and this time I'll click on the title itself to see if we can trace it from that end rather. Unfortunately, it brings us back to the same thing, and I don't seem to know exactly what it wants us to do. Okay, so now here is another way of getting it. Can you see the DOI? I hope all of you can see the DOI, the Digital Object Identifier. That is a very important element or descriptor of the online documents that you'll be dealing with. The DOI, which is Digital Object Identifier, is a unique code. It usually begins with 10 dots, something, something. It is a unique code that identifies every single document that is online, provided it has been registered with the DOI organization. And so as this thing was taking me round and round and I cannot see exactly where it is, I can copy the DOI right now, okay, and even do a normal Google search of the DOI to see whether I'll get what I'm looking for. So this is a Google search, and I'm searching for that particular DOI to see if I'll get the document. Very good. So it is telling me it is in Ghana Medical Journal, and this is in AJOL. Okay, responding to, so you can see that it is already here, right? Even with PDF attached. So I'll click it from here directly and see if it will give me the PDF. Of course, it has downloaded a full article directly. Can you see it? This is the article here. Okay, so the same thing that I was, it's actually an editorial article. Okay, the same thing I was moving around, I couldn't find the way out because I got the DOI, and as I mentioned, the DOI is very unique, all right? So it has automatically downloaded that for me. Currently, it is on my hard drive, all right? And it is in my downloads folder. Okay, so those are just two ways of getting documents, and I have used our Hinary subscription to find these documents. Now, back to the UHAS library website. If you want to have access to University of Ghana e-resources, okay, which we have under a current arrangement through off-campus access. I know that these arrangements from time to time will change. There will come a time when they will win us off. You know, University of Ghana has been our mentor university. And so from the start, they have allowed us to share a lot of their resources together. But I'm sure along the line, as UHAS grows, they will win us off some of these arrangements. But currently, as we continue under that arrangement, I'll show you how you can actually have access to their e-resources via off-campus authentication, all right? Now, to do that, you click on catalog, because we catalog on their university library management system called Sierra. Okay, so once you click catalog from the UHAS library, realize that it maps you directly onto the University of Ghana online catalog. Can you see that? Then here you go straight to off-campus access. Now, before you are able to go there, you will need to create a library account, which I'm going to help you to create during the tail end of this first session. All right. So you have a barcode. This is my barcode. It's already fixed there. And then I put in my password. And the last thing you do is to check students, and then I click login. Now that will give me access to hundreds and hundreds of databases from the University of Ghana. Okay, and you know, University of Ghana is more of a liberal university, so they have so many areas that we at UHAS will not be interested in. They also have the medicine, the science, and all of that. So we might be interested only in those areas that actually has our interest. For example, ScienceDirect is a multidisciplinary database. And so over here, because I don't want to lose this page, instead of clicking on ScienceDirect directly, I'd rather right click and pick open link in new tab. All right. So it is opening a new link for me in a new tab while I maintain this particular page. Okay. So you can see this is a new link for ScienceDirect, but the page where I have a list of all the databases is still existing. Okay. That's the BAM library. I still have this page, but I have this here. So I'm using ScienceDirect as our next example of databases that we can look for materials from. So here I'll type in the same keywords or my search query, which was COVID-19, and Ghana, and then I search. Now you can see that here there are also about how many results? 167 results, as you can see. And let me take the chance, even though this is not a webinar about how to search, let me use the opportunity to give you some clarifications about searching in databases. You see, in a database, which is academic, you have what we call filters. So on my left here, you can see that I can actually refine my results. I have 167 results. But you can see that in terms of publication year, 10 of these articles are actually earmarked for 2021. 157 of them are actually 2020 articles. So there are only 2 years for the 167 results that we have seen. That is the 2020 and 2021. Now, it might sound strange that we are in 2020 and yet articles are published in 2021. Yes. This is what we call the online first. Online first means that the publisher actually allows documents that are earmarked for the following year to appear online first. Because they have already finished everything. That they have closed.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Please, the network is bad and colleagues are also disturbing. So is there a way you can mute everyone?
I've been doing that. I don't know why they keep unmuting themselves and then interrupting us. I keep muting everyone, but some way, somehow, they unmute and then the feedback comes. I'm so sorry about that. So please, let's all exercise discipline so that we don't interrupt the class. I beg, please. All right. So I was just trying to explain the issue about 2021 publications. And I said that that is what happens when you are using e-resources. You can always have access to a publication far ahead of print. Okay, so the print year is going to be 2021, but before it gets into print, it is already available online. You can see that 3 of the results that we are seeing right now are actually book chapters. Okay, so if you are not looking for book chapter results, then you don't need to view them. There's one that is a conference abstract. There are 28 that are review articles, and there are 75 that are basic research. So let's assume I want only the review articles. Once I check this box, okay, the system will resort everything, and you can see that now I have only 28 results. because those are the review articles. And I want only review articles from ScienceDirect or the Elsevier publisher, okay? So that's it. I have only 28 results. The first one here is Lancet COVID-19 Commission Statement on the occasion of 75th session of the UN General Assembly. Well, I think that should be an interesting thing to look at. And so you can see right under it here, it says download PDF. Because you have full access. So you just simply click to download because you think you like that particular article. All right. And it downloads to the PDF viewer of your browser. And all you have to do is move to the right up here and click download so that you get it onto the hard drive. So before I download, of course, I may want to copy this statement on the occasion of whatever. So I can just say statement. I don't want too long. Don't write too long a title for your articles, okay? So I copy this either using Control-C or I right-click and I click copy, all right? Then I can now go to download. And then when the file explorer comes, I simply do Control-V to paste it, and then I save. So I've got a third article, all right? I can close this PDF viewer, get back to my ScienceDirect results. There's another one that says male predisposition to severe COVID-19. Wow. So males are actually predisposed to severe COVID-19. That's interesting. I like this article. I copied that part of the title. Then I click download here to get the full article. And once it opens in the PDF viewer of my browser, you can see it is loading. As you can see the progress bar. Okay, sometimes the network can cause it to delay. But once it is done, you see the download icons over here, download, print, and all of that. All right, so we are waiting for it to load. Let me admit some new people again. Good, so it has now fully loaded, and you can see the download icon. I click on that. I already copied part of the title that I want to use, so I just Control-V to paste, and then I save. All right, that's it. Now, I've got a few of them, about 4 articles right now. Let us now begin to see ways in which we can actually populate our library of references. So these are the items I want to read. Now, this is my Mendeley Reference Manager. One thing I want you to know about the Reference Manager is that you can actually use Mendeley to handle the entire life cycle of your research efforts. By that, I mean from reading and annotating your PDF and all of that through the citation. Because Mendeley has its own inbuilt PDF reader. And this reader can allow you to highlight, write short notes, and do all manner of things that you may not even have been able to do on your standard Adobe PDF reader. You know, if you're having the standard reader, there are certain things you cannot do because it's not an editor. But in Mendeley PDF Reader, it will allow you the laxity to use these tools to do those things. So one way in which we build content, one way is that you can simply drag and drop your content into the midsection here, where your library is organized. And Mendeley will automatically ingest all the publication details and try to extract every single metadata by itself. All right, let's try that. So I know where my downloads are. They are in my downloads folder. So I open my file explorer. I go into my downloads folder. And the most recent, I have actually set my file explorer to arrange items by the most recent first. Okay, so the most recent downloads I made are these 4. You see, it says today. Today I have 4 downloads. So I simply select all these 4, okay, like this, and then I drag and drop them into Mendeley. But I'm done. So you can see Mendeley is ingesting all those 4 documents. It has already finished ingesting them. So currently our SPH sandwich folder has 4 items in the library. You could see that I just drag and drop PDF items, but automatically in the library, it gives me the names of authors all here, the titles all here, And when I scroll to the right, you see the other items. You can see year of publication. They are all 2020 articles published in what? They are talking about the journals. So biomedicine and pharmacotherapy is the first one. The second one is Lancet. The third one is clinical medicine. And then the last one is PLOS ONE. And the time I have added it. So it has given all these details. This is your library, the library pane. And it has arranged everything according to these fields. Now, if you select any one of these, for example, let's select the first one. You see that its details are displayed in the last pane. So this last pane is what's called the details pane. All right. Now, Mendeley has not flagged any of the items because it feels it was successful at extracting the details. But let's cross-check and be sure that Mendeley is right. It says the name of the journal is Biomedicine and Pharmacotherapy. And it says that it was 2020, the volume number is 131, but it couldn't give us issue number. Then for pages, it gave us 11074. I don't know what this means. So what I do simply is, because I can see here that the PDF has been attached, it means I can open the PDF. So I double click to open the PDF. You can see that here Mendeley has opened the file for me in its own PDF viewer. Don't forget the library is still here. This is the library here. So I can switch between the library view and the PDF view of the selected item. So if I look critically, is it true? Yeah, it is true that the journal's name is Biomedicine and Pharmacotherapy. And it's also true that this is the volume number, and this is how, because it's an online journal, it doesn't have physical pagination like the rest do. So you can see that this is how Elsevier itself named the page number. So Mendeley simply extracted it the way it is because it's an online journal. And if I look at the names of the authors, it looks like it got every single one of them correct. So yes, Mendeley has done well over here, and that is great. I can close the PDF view. As I mentioned, in this PDF, if you select anything, Mendeley will give you options. Do you want to highlight? Do you want to annotate this? Or do you want to copy? Can you see it? So all these things are available within Mendeley. And you have the color codes to choose from. You can change your color of highlight to green, to violet, to pink, anything. Sorry about this. I need to mute it again. All right. So Mendeley gives you all those tools to use in reading your document and marking it out and making notes, so that when you want to write your review, it is easy for you to refer to the notes that you have made in the document and then write out your review. All right. So I close now the PDF so that we are back in the library. I select the next one. It also seems to have done a good job, but it also didn't get, this one gets the issue number, but not the pages. So let's see if we can get the pages for this one. So we scroll and we realize this is a document. It's also numbered 1, 2, 3 up to the end. It also appears to be an online journal. It doesn't seem to have any proper pagination like you have in a print one. So we can leave it like that. But ideally, we should have a page number. So if you like, since they have numbered it to 1, 2, 3, you just have to look from the beginning to the last. It's up to 23. So you can choose to say the pages here are 1 to 23. You fix that one there. And if you scroll down, you realize that Mendeley was able to even get the DOI and all of that. Have you seen that? Now, let me explain something about the DOI and the PMID. You know, I mentioned DOI first, and when we were looking through Hinari, we couldn't get access to the full text. I simply copied the DOI and went to the normal search, and that allowed us to download the document. Again, what you can do is that if you are not sure,
hello, sir. Hello,
yes,
sir.
Yes, please.
Please, sir, if you could be mentioning the terms in full, the DOI, what it means, and PMID.
Oh, sorry. I thought I explained all of that already.
Yeah,
okay. So what I want to show you here is this, that when we are looking at the details and we feel that something is not really correct, when you move down here, okay, the DOI here stands for Digital Object Identifier. It is a unique number that is given to every online document, all right? And because it is unique to the particular document, you can see the magnifying glass here or the search tool. When you click here, you see it says lookup. When you click on it, Mendeley will try to connect with this document online. it is successful, and so you could see that green check button. So if I now scroll up, if there was anything that it didn't get right, it would have corrected it. The PMID does the same thing. PMID means PubMed ID. It means this particular document is available in PubMed, okay? And it has been given this particular ID. So I could also use the PubMed ID to search for further details of this particular document. And as Mendeley is trying to contact PubMed to fetch information about this particular article, you can see it said lookup succeeded. So it got it. And you can see that it has even added several URLs. So it is in PubMed Central, it is in PubMed itself, and then it is in Elsevier Link Hub. So it has added all these 3 links as URL for this particular document. That is what these key DOI and PMIDs help you to do if you want to actually quality assure the content of your library. All right. So anytime you suspect that the details that Mendeley has extracted are not really up to date, you can update them using the DOI or the PubMed ID if that particular document has it. Okay, so we have spoken about drag and drop. We have looked at how we can update our details using the lookup function from the PMID and the DOI. Now, we are going to look at another way of adding content. Okay, another way of adding content to PubMed, to our Mendeley from any source. Let's suppose you are reading a physical book. Okay, this is a physical book. It doesn't have anything online that you can just drag and drop. It is not a PDF on your laptop. It's a book on your table. That one, you go to add entry manually. All right, so you go here. You can even use a file menu. So you can click on the file menu. You'll see here, add entry manually. Or you use this tab here, the add tab, and then you click on the arrow by it. And you can see the last option that says add entry manually. When you do that, the first thing that you need to be conscious about is what type of resource are you adding? So if what you are reading on your table was a book, okay, then you have to go to the type, the resource type, and change it to a book. A book means that it is just one full volume of a book written by a set of authors from start to finish. All right, the authors are responsible for the cover-to-cover topic treatment within that book. That is book. The other option is you have what we call book section. Now, a book section is used if you are actually reading a contributed work. You know, there are some kinds of books that have several authors authoring specific chapters within it. Usually handbooks and certain kinds of materials that are edited works. So those kinds of books don't usually have authors, they have editors. So you see that they compile works from several authors on several topics. So each chapter is by a different author or set of authors. Like that. It's not as if the same set of authors wrote the book from start to finish, but every chapter or section within that particular book has been authored by a different author or set of authors. In that kind of case, you may be reading a particular chapter which is authored by a certain set of authors, but they are not the ones responsible for the entire volume of the book. So you cannot say that they are authors of the entire book, but only a particular chapter within that volume. In that case, your resource type is a book section. So let's assume that we are reading a book section right now. Now, what is the title of that section? The title of that section is COVID-19 Pandemic in Ghana. Okay, COVID-19 Pandemic in Ghana. Now, who are the authors? Let's say Fatima Raoul is the first author. And here, I want you to pay attention to how authors are entered. I have entered the name as a natural name. That means Fatima is the first name, and Raoul is the last name of the author or the surname of the author. That is a natural way of writing names. And you see that the moment I was entering that name, Mendeley popped up asking me whether Fatima Raoul is an institution or organization. The reason for this is that there are corporate authors, okay? For example, if you want to cite, let's say you are writing on student discipline issues, and you want to cite maybe an article from the student handbook to support an argument you are making about student discipline and the regulations of student behavior, you are going to be citing a manual that has been authored by the University of Health and Allied Sciences. There's no single individual responsible, but the entire institution is the author. In that case, when you write University of Health and Allied Sciences here, you have to click this to indicate to Mendeley that this is an institution, so that Mendeley will not try to switch any of the parts of the word. For example, if you observe what happened here, what I entered in was Fatima Raoul. Have you seen that? But Mendeley automatically has swapped that because it knows that by entering Fatima Raoul, I meant Raoul is the last name. And when we are citing sources, we cite the last name of the author and the year. So automatically it has switched them, brought Raoul first, and then comma after Raoul, and then Fatima last. And if I click outside, you realize that even the Fatima, it has shortened it to F dot because it sees it as the first name. Okay, that's the first thing about the author name. The second thing you should know about the author name is that when you have multiple authors, okay, when you have multiple authors, you must enter each author on a single line. So if I have an additional author to Fatima Raoul, then I'll have to press enter and be on the second line before I type the second author's name. So the second author is Thomas Thompson. Thomas Thompson. I've entered it again as a natural name. The moment I press enter, you see that Mendeley automatically turned it into Thompson, Thomas. All right? But if I had entered it as a formal name with the last name first, then I must place comma after the last name before the first name. For example, if I type Muhammad, comma, Khadija, the system automatically understands that once I have brought comma after Muhammad, then Muhammad is the last name. So you see that it has italicized Khadija. And if I click out, it will maintain my Muhammad like that for me. So it is K.Muhammad. Then what is the book itself? I said it's a book chapter I read from a contributed work. So what is the book itself? So the book itself is Pandemics and Epidemics. A World of Sorrows. All right, I'm just creating these things out of my mind, okay? Now, what was the year of publication? 2020. Or let's write 2019, because it started in 2019. Now, it's asking me pages because I said I read a particular chapter. So let's say it was from page 57 to 81 that this particular topic, COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana, actually was. And maybe I shouldn't have written it this way. Pandemic in Ghana. I should use small letters. Pandemic in Ghana. That was the title. Very good. And then when I go down, since this is a contributed work, what chapter did I read that thing from? It's chapter 3. I just put 3 there. Now, city, I'll say the city is Accra. But interestingly, in the 7th edition, okay, Accra, Ghana. In the 7th edition of APA, the city or the place of publication is no longer needed. So you realize that even though in the form of entry here in Mendeley, it is asking for city, I've supplied it. If we cite this particular resource right now from Fatima, you will not see Accra there anymore. Now, what is the edition of this book? There's no edition. It is the first edition. COVID-19 just started. But who are the editors? Since I said this is a book chapter I read, so there are editors for this particular book. So who are the editors? So let's say Prof. Zoto is one of them, okay? So Francis Bruno Zoto. Now, you enter the editors the same way that you enter the authors. Each editor must be on a particular line. You understand? So the next editor is Paul Amuna. They are the two editors, and that ends it, so I can stop there. All right, then who is the publisher? The publisher is University of Health and Allied Sciences. It's already here. URL, no, this is a print-only book, so there's no URL. ISBN, we don't need it to cite this thing. Then I click on Save. Now, when you enter a manual resource like this, you realize that it doesn't have any attachment. So in the file attachment column, it is blank. But the citation column, you can see the green point, meaning you have added a citation. All right, very good. Now, someone asked about the process of going over how I drag and drop. So I'm going to do that again as another way of putting in a library item, okay? So what I said was that if you already have an existing folder, okay, an existing folder of your PDFs. For example, I have things on artemisinin resistance in Africa here. This is a folder on my desktop, artemisinin resistance in Africa. You can see that. Very good. Now, interestingly over here, I've not even named any of these documents. So look carefully. These were the file names that were downloaded directly from the server. Okay, directly from the server, these file names were downloaded. I'm going to add about 5 more items from here. I don't even know the titles of these documents, all right? So I have picked all these. Once I've selected them, and I hope that everyone is watching about the drag and drop, all right? So for the drag and drop, what it means is that you must make sure that, one, your Mendeley app is not maximized. It does not fill the entire screen. Because if it is maximized and it fills the whole screen, then you cannot bring any other thing in it. At the same time, your File Explorer 2 should not be maximized. You see, my File Explorer 2 is restored down, so I can move it around, okay? So I can see it, and I can also see my Mendeley Desktop app. So I simply select my files from here, from the File Explorer, as I have done, and then I just drag them. That's about 6 items I'm dragging. Can you see it? So once I move into the library area, it's asking me to put a copy here, and I just release my mouse button, and automatically it is adding them. Okay, so I can close this, my folder. So Mendeley has automatically added them. You can see
so
documents selected. Yes.
Yeah, but please, apart from dragging, can you also copy and paste?
It's the same thing. So let's try it. So let me go back in here. Let's try copy and paste. So let's bring something new. So I right click and I choose copy. Or once I select, you can see copy right here at the top here. Then you come in here, right click, and can there be a paste here? It doesn't look like there's a paste. Or let me do Control V and see. Of course, Control V pasted it. That is this one. Can you see it? So even though if I right click, I'll not see paste, you can do Control V to paste it inside here once you click inside the Mendeley library. So yes, copy and paste is also available. But remember, the paste is going to be a keyboard shortcut, Control+V. You cannot do a right click inside Mendeley to paste. All right, so now we have a number of items in our Mendeley library. Now, if I was reading these things myself, I would have remembered some of the names, all right? And so when I'm typing my work in Microsoft Word, I can simply cite, all right? We have passed our time, but I would like to conclude here simply by showing you that these 3 modes that I have shown you right now are sure ways of building your library. But the most important thing about building the library is where I encouraged you to make sure that, for example, look at Slater HANA. I don't know which document it is. If I select, all the details are here. But if I think I am not sure, I simply scroll down. I know there's a DOI, there's even a PMID. So let me use the PMID to cross-check. I say search for the details of this document. And so it is trying to connect to the PubMed database to make sure that Can you see? So currently it has even brought the URLs of where I can locate this document online. That is what you do to update your details where you think that some of the details are not clear to you. Another way is that if you extract some details automatically using Mendeley, and Mendeley itself feels that he didn't do a good extraction, then look at this particular folder. Needs review. Can you see it? This one with the red background and a question mark, needs review. Mendeley will always put documents that it feels contain some errors. So for example, if I click needs review, you see all these documents that are here. If I click them, you see that Mendeley is telling me in the details node. He said these details need reviewing. You can mark them as correct, whatever. So it means Mendeley itself senses that no, something is wrong with the details of this particular document. That is what happens when Mendeley can sense that it was not able to extract your details accurately for you. Then it will flag it up and tell you, no, you need to check this detail. And as I mentioned, if it is a document with a PDF attachment, then you can simply open the PDF, even right here in Mendeley, and then read across to make sure that you are actually seeing the right thing. You can copy and paste, or you can type in the details to actually make sure they are correct. Otherwise, as I showed you, you can check if this document has a digital object identifier, like this one, or a PMID. There's no PMID, but there's a digital object identifier. So you can use that one to search so that it can update the details for you. Now, another way of updating your details, and by this, I should go back to our folder, which is the SPH. Another way of updating your details is that when you click on a particular reference, okay, you see the title. You can right-click on the title here and say update details. Can you see it? Update details. That is if you feel that what you are seeing, the details pane here, is not correct. But before you do any of these things that I'm showing, you must be connected, you must be online. Because when you are asking the system to update the details, whether it is using PMID or DOI, or you're using the title to update, it will have to connect to online sources of the document to make sure that all the details are copied right. So you must be online before you use those features to update your details. All right, at this point, I think we have come to an end of how to build your library. One thing that I want to show you before we close this particular session is in the Tools tab. Since we are going to be citing these documents, okay, remember in the Tools tab here, you will have Install Web Importer and Install MS Word plugin. Now, the MS Word plugin is where you have Mendeley integrated in your Microsoft Word, so that when you are typing your research report in Word, you can seamlessly cite from Mendeley. Well, I have installed mine already, so you see that it is saying uninstall MS Word plugin. If you have installed Mendeley fresh, you also read install, like the web one, install. But because I have already installed it, that is why it is reading uninstall, okay, from tools. So if you have done your download and installation recently, maybe today, then quickly go to tools and click on install MS Word plugin. Now, if you have done that, then when you come to Microsoft Word, under the references tab, let me admit these people, we are almost closing this session. Under the references tab, you will see Mendeley Cytomatic group. You can see Mendeley already. So the groups, we have table of contents, footnotes, Mendeley Cytomatic. So it is in this group that we are going to be working when we want to cite in Microsoft Word while working on our essay from our Mendeley app.